Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. I guess we have one guest at the moment, and that is Light. Okay. Says hello, sir. Good morning. It's morning here. Okay. Let me know your gender, your age, and which country you're tuning in from. And also let me know if you can hear me well and if the resolution is okay and the sound is okay. I'd appreciate it. Light, can you hear me? Um, I I'm hoping you can tell me if the sound is okay, resolution is okay, and if you could tell me your age, gender, and where you tuning in from, which country. Thank you. Anybody who's out there who can hear me, let me know if the sound is okay. And of course, as usual, the protocol is your age, gender, and which country you're tuning in from. Thank you. And this, my world 222 says, yeah, it's okay. Okay, thank you very much for responding to me. I appreciate it. So I guess we are now officially open for tonight's surprise live stream. Usually we have our live stream at 1 p.m. Vancouver time on Saturdays, but I thought I'll spend an hour with you guys tonight in case so many emails come to me and they all sound urgent and they want to respond, but I don't respond to long involved questions on comment anymore because it's very inefficient, back and forth, and it's just not the way that it would be the best use of time. So that's why I put the live streams. It's free for everyone to attend. And if there would be a need for any further discussion or longer discussion or detailed discussion, not in public discussion, you can always go to my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. www.mindthatseekstruth.com, and make an appointment for a Skype consultation. And of course, we'll be having a Skype chat one on one about what's concerning you. Here's a link to the site. And of course, if there's no question, then I can just go about my business, go for a walk by the ocean, or do other things that I've been doing, making some other videos. So get on with it. So what happened? All those people keep sending email. Oh, please, please answer me now, now, now. Here it is. I told you, the guys, I'll have live streams for you guys, so you don't have to fret so much. And there's nothing urgent really about whatever suffering you might be feeling as far as psychological or the relationship challenge is concerned. Brian Piassi says, "Hello, my name is Brian, and I have 26 years, and I have a question." Yeah, Brian, but also let me know which country you're tuning in from. So that gives me a little bit of a cultural background. So age, gender, where you're tuning in from. So Brian, okay, male, all right, and 26 years of age, and which country? And go ahead with your question as well. Girls like my hair. Okay, it says it. That's a screen thumbnail. That's says 30 male USA. So girls like your hair. Either the girls are bald, because girls usually have more beautiful girls than us guys do. But hey, and he says my girlfriend, 30 male USA says my girlfriend left me for another guy. She was also an alcoholic and drug user. Well, then perhaps it's reason for jubilation. So, should I try to get her back, or is that a question really? I mean, do you really need me to tell you that you should go get your alcoholic, drug addicted girlfriend back? For what reason? Unless the only thing you expect from women is what was expected from them 200 years ago, to lay there and just, have sex. You can't disrespect women by only considering them that they are irresponsible and you have to take care of them. They are intelligent being, highly intelligent, highly educated these days, highly capable. They can accomplish anything you can, pretty much, up to a certain point. Because obviously, men can be good in some things that women cannot be, and women can be good in some things that we men cannot be. Those are some limited. But in general, women today are just as capable as any other. So, thinking that all there is good to them is if they're beautiful and they can provide some intimacy, that's disrespecting women. When you think that a woman who is a responsible human being is alcoholic, drug addict, cannot really set the tone of life proper for herself, does not resonate with the responsibilities of life and what she should be contributing to life, as we all are supposed to contribute in positive way to the community and the societies that we live in. If you don't think that she's also bound by the same rule and is capable of offering hell of a lot to this world, as so many women are today, then you got it wrong. On what basis do you think this woman should only be expected from you to be beautiful? But if she is not responsible, she is drug addict, alcoholic, and she doesn't care about what you've been trying to help, or helping her to get over this thing, so she continues that, and then she leaves you for another So she cheats on you. She's alcoholic. She's drug addict. And what else does she not contribute to your relationship? And why is that so so palatable for you that you want to go after such a woman? What is she bringing to the table? So you don't need me really to give you an answer for that. You just need to understand that you gotta respect women for what they are. And they're highly intelligent, capable human beings. So when they falter, the reaction towards them should be as you react to yourself if you falter. If you don't expect much from yourself, you will do all kind of shitty things and you think it's okay. The same expectations and the same bar should be set for your girlfriend. She's just as good as you are. Not abiding by certain standards of doing your best in life, well, she should be held responsible for the same standards. If she's not meeting those standards, what do you want of her? Unless you think you're incapable of getting a real responsible, girlfriend who wants to build something, wants to adhere to certain standards of, you know, um, life, certain lifestyle that is responsible, build something together. If that's not what you expect, then I guess go ahead. Otherwise, this doesn't need me to make a comment on it. Really? Yeah, there it is. That's where it is. I didn't read the end of it, but I guess my assumption was right. Should I try to get her back or let her go? She was very beautiful, and I miss her. I was just about to say, fuck you, if that's all you think a woman is. That just because she's beautiful, then, and she has no other use other than beauty, she's mutilating her life and yours. And yet you say, the reason that I want to go after her is because she was beautiful and I miss her. What is it that you miss? Her alcoholic behavior? Drug addiction? Cheating on you? Which one is it that you miss? Ah, she was beautiful. Well, there are so many other postcards and, pictures that are beautiful too. Do you miss them? Or do you believe that relationship takes place in the consciousness level? And if you bond on consciousness level, if you cannot bond on that, I don't care how beautiful she is. What is she bringing to your life other than pain and suffering and threats of? When someone is into that sort of a lifestyle, alcoholic, drug addict, she's not thinking well to begin with. So whether she's beautiful or not, you can't count on her because his brain is simply not hitting on all cylinders. Because if she cannot really value herself and her life and her health, she sacrifices and risks those. How do you think she's going to be thinking about you? How important do you think you're going to be to her? Obviously not. If she can't really consider herself important to take care of her health and not be alcoholic and not be drug addict and adhere to certain principles of relationship, meaning not to cheat, if she can't do that, what is it that you think she's going to bring to your life? Stability? No. Responsibility? No. Contributing in your challenges? Solving challenges? No. So what is it? Because you want to live in a stupid world to think just because a woman is beautiful, that is equal to a woman who's also responsible and caring, compassionate, educated, and upholds the values that is necessary for a healthy relationship. So move on and find some other. That would be the most obvious things. And Brian Piassi says, I have HOCD. I realize that what bothers me is that I notice men in a different way. as if I see qualities I didn't notice before. Does this happen because I keep having these obsessions and compulsions? And I notice that my libido for women has decreased as well, as if I can't feel attracted anymore. I would be happy if you answer me. Well, I have already answered these, Brian, in many, many different videos on this channel. I think on this channel, collectively, we have over 3,000 videos on relationships and OCD. And I think five to 600 of them, or 500 of them at least, are in regards to HOCD. So the answer to your question in detail exists in different videos that I have produced on this channel. All you have to do is just go to the channel and on the search engine of the channel itself, type in HOCD, and you will see how many videos come. And from the titles, you can choose and then have your questions answered, which is much easier that way. Because if I want to start talking about the reasons and how to deal with HOCD, that'll be like at least 2-3 hours by itself. We don't have that kind of time here. But if you go to two major playlists, one is called Intrusive Thoughts, Transient Thoughts, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts, which it interprets thoughts and talks about OCD and intrusive thoughts and what is thinking, where does it come from, relationship between thinking and consciousness, what is fear, and so on and so forth. And then it goes into interpretation of the feelings that someone who is sufferer of HOCD and the thought process and the interpretation of those thoughts, and it goes into that tangent. Then there's another playlist called Intrusive OCD, HOCD short videos. None of them are short, but a few of them maybe. But that will not talk about the interpretation of a thought, an association of thoughts to each other, how it leads to become sexual connotation in the thought. But it focuses on separation between brain and you. One of the most challenging things for most people dealing with HOCD is that they miss the point that brain is not them. We've been conditioned since childhood to think that the brain is you and you're the brain. Whatever brain says, that is you. You're being identified. Your identity is in what brain suggests, which is totally bullshit. In the research that Dr. Egnar did, and he put a video together, which I used that knowledge and research, enhanced a little bit, and have produced a video is about 48 minutes, which is describing the experiences and experiments that brilliant Nobel Prize echelon type of studies and surgeons in neuroscience have done, such as Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, and Dr. Libet. I've explained how their experiment went and what it means in proving that you're not the brain and brain is not you. In that discussion, Dr. Egnar has shown that the experiments of these neuroscientists clearly shows that there are aspects of mind and you that the brain cannot even reach, let alone brain being you or representing you. So in that video, you will see that the philosophical point of view that was brought about 1,000 years ago by Aristotle, which was talking about dualism rather than atoms and void, materialism, is now in the modern science, it's been proven through neuroscience and neurosurgery that actually brain is separate from you, and you're not the brain. Brain is not you, and there are aspects of mind and you that the brain cannot even reach. That helps you to realize that thoughts that show up in your brain is not identifying your gender, and it's not changing your inclination. They are psychological and malfunctioning in the signaling system of the brain that contributes to these mismatch and mishmashes that intrusive thoughts lingers. Because every human being on earth, all 8 billion or so of us, have intrusive thoughts. So having intrusive thoughts is part of the malfunction of the brain. Part of the function of the brain, which for the ones who find it unwanted, of course, is a malfunction. But in the brain that is suffering from HOCD, rather OCD and OCD subset, HOCD be one of them, when intrusive thoughts presents itself, in the non-OCD brain, when you notice the intrusive thoughts, say, that's nasty, and then boom, the mechanism of caudate nucleus in the striatum, in midbrain basal ganglia, it is designed to automatically to shut down the intrusive thought, knowing that it's not within your values. But when caudate nucleus malfunctions, it doesn't do its job automatically in regards to shutting down the intrusive thoughts. So intrusive thoughts, when it shows up, it lingers. So OCD brain that caudate nucleus is malfunctioning, the intrusive thought lingers. And when it lingers, it comes a question to you that why is it lingering? It must mean something. That must be representing me. No, it means there is a malfunction in the signaling systems of the brain, and that is why it's lingering. Not that it has a mandate or some kind of a deity or a message for you. Brain is not intelligent. Brain is not your intellect. Brain is actually a machine, a stupid machine, that its job is to create thoughts. And it does that 80, 90,000 thoughts a day based on all kinds of information that has seeped through the consciousness, having come through the internet, mediums, lifestyles, things you see out there, products, different designs, different orientations, different food tastes, different preferences. All that information has seeped through the consciousness, and brain uses all that information that is existing as an inventory of information and makes thoughts without really knowing any goals for it, just makes thoughts. And in order to find security, because brain doesn't find security in the same way that your body finds. There's body and mind. Your body finds security when you know where your limbs are, and you're in your room, in your apartment or place of residence. The door is locked, and you're in good part of town. So the safe environment brings safety to your body. But the brain doesn't find its safety, while it's also looking for safety like the body does. It doesn't find its safety in a safe environment, physical environment. It finds its safety in occupation, in being busy, in being focused on doing something. And when it's not having a proper order in life or being busy enough, it creates certain kind of a unwanted, intrusive, opposite of your values thoughts. So you will argue it. So you'll engage it. So you rise and try to defend it, and you create a dialogue. Otherwise, if the brain would make a compliment about you and your life, such as saying, well, you like girls, let's say, you're a heterosexual man and you like girls, and if the brain says, well, you're good looking and the girls like you, you say, oh, thank you very much. That's the end of the conversation. There's no more continuation of it. And that's not where the brain finds its security. It needs to be busy and occupied. So how can it make you busy? When it actually says something that is contrary to what you welcome it, you rise and you argue it and you defend it and respond to it. And that goes back and forth. You ruminate why what this thought was here and so on. And that busyness brings about a certain kind of a security for the brain. So naturally, all HOCD attacks to people who suffer from HOCD, all the content of it is opposite of what their real value and their real orientation is. Otherwise, it would not alarm the brain and the mechanism of you. There would be no contradiction. There would be no awareness. There would be no um, uh, dialogue, and the brain would not find security in this occupation and business that it has created. So it always, when you find something unwanted and unwelcomed in your mind, it's the OCD, it's the HOCD, and which is not representation of you at all. It is just a glitch in the brain in many different ways that I've explained it, and is trying to create that business and occupation, as HOCD is never in line with what you are all about. Otherwise, you would not object it. You would not even notice that there is anything different between what the brain says and what you are and your preferences are. And because you notice it, that awareness tells you that what is being suggested is not in line with your values. And that's where you go from there. And then other videos explain to you how to deal with those thoughts, as it is explained by Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson. All those links are available in the videos. That you can, watch them and learn and educate yourself about HOCD. And Mona is here, says, hi, Meranjun. Hello, Mona June. How are you, dear? Hope everything is good for you. Are you in UK at the moment, or you're in States somewhere? And in regards to, Brian, in regards to your question about that your libido for women is decreased, well, again, I use this analogy that that our friends in Ireland, I believe, has a channel on HOCD. Jesse says, they call me Jesse. And he used this analogy, which I always like to quote where this analogy came from, because it's a brilliant and very clear way of saying it. He was saying that when you say that your libido is not working as well as it did, it's like when you're in a pond and you notice an alligator is attacking you, and you notice the alligator is following you and is opening the jaws and about to take half of your ass away, and then you wonder, why am I not having an erection? Well, that's no time. You're fighting for your life and trying to flee it. And HOCD, when it attacks you, it creates the same kind of a feeling in you, a frantic, ferocious way of trying to save your life. And while you're distracted and trying to deal with that challenge, you can't expect to have a great libido. It's not because the libido has gone anywhere. It's because you're distracted. You're busy with trying to deal with something that to you is dangerous. And so naturally, libido is not going to be functioning as well until you sort out these intrusive thoughts and the reasons they show up, and learn and educate yourself about HOCD. Then you'll see that it's just like a fog on the window. It just needs to be cleaned up. Not that there is anything wrong with the scenery out there. The scenery is still the same. Everything's still the same. It's just dusty, foggy. You got to clean up so you can see clear. Then once you deal with that, the libido is never gone anywhere, and you can see it clear. It's always been there. And we have Matip, 18, male, USA. Thank you for that. And Alex Fernandez says, hey, Miran, what are your thoughts? Hey, Alex, don't think just because you've been here many times, I remember age and where you're tuning in from. So I need all that information for anybody who says hello. Just like Matip, 18, male, USA. Thank you for that. So, Alex, get on with it. I'll be right back to your question. I'll go to Baby Yoda is here. It says, male 26, Washington. Says, wow, caught you live. Yeah, I like to be caught live than dead. It's caught you live this time before going to sleep. My girlfriend broke up with me. Before going to sleep, it's 9:55. It's Friday night. What's says my girlfriend broke up with me 2 days ago. Oh, Congratulations. Now you have a, a chance to find other girls, a different chapter in life. Says, I have learned a lot from you. Okay. I'm delighted that you feel that way. Says, I don't allow myself to think about the whole thing. Hmm? Is there chapter 2 for this? Oh, so, no, I don't see chapter 2. What's the rest of the question? I guess I'll find it when I see it, right? Baby. Was that the whole thing that you don't think about the whole thing? I don't know what the whole thing you mean. Maybe you can elaborate. And I apologize. I just noticed there is a super chat that traditionally I'm supposed to get to it as soon as we see it. It takes precedent or it takes priority to our other questions. But I was in the middle of a discussion, so I missed it. Says, girls like my hair. Says, thank you very much for answering my question. I feel that codependent and need to figure out how to fix it. Um, did you let me know how old you were? Because let me go back and see. Um, oh, 30 male USA. Come on now. You're 30 years old. You're very young. That's the best time of your life. Mind you, the best time of your life will come maybe when you're 40, when you have the wisdom, experience, and still young and strong, and money, probably your career would be better then. But age 30, you're very young. There's so many girls are looking for a guy at age 30 and in their 30s because that's a very promising age that the girls are looking for a 30-year-old man who is busy with his career and lots of hopes, and they are giving lots of credit to a person who's responsible and has got a career and is young and so on. So you've got nothing to worry about at that age. I might. I'm 60. I'm 66. So the number itself, uh, doesn't. It's not so attractive. But at age 30, I don't want to hear you guys talk like this. So she didn't stay with you. Free world. It's she that's her prerogative. That's her choice. You respect that, and respect yourself as well. There's so many amazing, beautiful women out there. There's no shortage of that. So, what is it that you think this one thing at age 26, what, at age 30 that you are, is the end all be all of the girls that could offer you whatever? And whatever was she offering you, let me tell you, it's right here. She was a drug user, alcoholic, and she cheated on you. Really nothing to write home about, is it? If you still hung up on her, well, everybody knows. I don't know if it's your first time you're here or not. Everybody knows I have a friend, a very famous friend called the Ugly Stick. It's right there, standing there. And if you really don't take good care of yourself, I might have to take it, get on the plane, show up at your door, and beat the crap out of you until you actually get senses in your head. But provided you will have your motorcycle helmet on, that I wouldn't have to, it wouldn't hurt you. So, in other words, be respectful to yourself and to other women out there who have worked hard to make something out of themselves, keep in shape, they have a career, they are responsible, and they stay away from the wrong side of the lifestyle that could harm them on their health and the people who love them and are around them. So move on and find a better candidate. The fact that most men do not qualify women when they get to know them is the problem. Most of the problem relationship starts at the selection time. Most men, when we see a beautiful woman, that's the end of it. I mean, she's beautiful, and that's really what we want. We're programmed for procreation. We don't ask too many questions. What do you do? What's your education is? What do you bring to the table? How responsible are you? How compassionate, caring, unselfish? None of that. Just because she's gorgeous, beautiful, we're done. which is the problem. You need to have a little bit more sophistication and expect a lot more from a woman that you want to date or have a relationship with, just like they do when they meet you. They ask lots of questions and they look for lots of signals. Can you provide? Do you have a good job? Are you a decent person? Are you kind? If you take care of them in more most civilized and gentlemanly way, they expect all these things. But most men seem to all they care if is she wearing nice dress, she's got outgoing personality, and she's sexy, or she's fit, and that's it. Well, that's a problem. You get what you focus on. And Matip says 18 male USA. Right now, I have been dealing with HOCD, and sometimes it's like it comes in waves. Sometimes I don't have thoughts for a few hours, but then I have a thought, and right away it goes crazy, saying, what if it isn't HOCD? Well, that's exactly what HOCD does. Makes you question what if it's not, because we are prone for certainty. You're looking for assurances because it's very important to you. If it wasn't important, you wouldn't even notice it. You wouldn't even ask these questions. And the very fact that you see the contradiction between what the brain suggests and what you prefer and what you have been and like to be and continue to be and enjoy, that itself is enough for you that it is HOCD, and there is no ifs and buts about it. But you got to learn what HOCD is and how to deal with intrusive thoughts, HOCD thoughts, as they show up, because it is a condition that you need to rewire the brain. And rewiring the brain needs learning about what the roots of HOCD is, what the science behind it is, what psychologists have written about it and researched about it, and how can you help the brain to retrain itself, knowing that it all comes from the OCD subsets, OCD and OCD subset, knowing that striatum in midbrain in basal ganglia is an area where there is goal finding center, reward center, and habit center. They're all on top of each other. So if you don't understand what HOCD is and how to help it to rewire the brain, every time that you fall for the intrusive thought and go through the labyrinth and ruminate on it over and over to bring assurance and certainty and dissect it and spend that time, it is similar, the same as if you have a washing hand OCD. Every time that you have the obsession to wash hand, you feel you got to have the compulsion to actually wash hand. But every time that you do the compulsion for the obsession, that's the goal finding, so to speak. The reward finding center is also when you actually do the compulsion and you feel, I'm good now. I had an obsession to wash hands and I did the compulsion washing hands. Now I feel good. But as soon as you do that, the reward comes in. Brain secretes dopamine. So that's the reward center, which is stimulated by the goal finding center. When you actually do the compulsion, it results for the reward center to secrete the dopamine. And guess what? You do that 1,000 times. Every time dopamine is secreted, every when you do the compulsion, which means the habit center is being stimulated every time you do the compulsion. So you do the compulsion, you feel and then dopamine is secreted, and dopamine is addictive. So you, after a while, you're not doing the compulsion because of the obsession only, you're doing the compulsion to get the dopamine because now you're addicted to dopamine. And when you do it 1,000 times, it becomes your habit because it's not stimulating the habit center every time that you do the compulsion and you get the dopamine. And after a while, you're neither doing it for this obsession and you're neither doing it for the dopamine. You're doing it because it's your habit. That's when it becomes more difficult to get rid of the OCD and OCD subset, HOCD, whatnot. That's why it's very important for you. The sooner you learn about what are the ways to deal with the intrusive thoughts and how you can rewire and retrain the brain, the sooner you get rid of the possibility of becoming um, a really deep habit that would make it more difficult to get rid of it or takes longer. So educate yourself on what HOCD is. The videos are available for you, and the links to Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Schwartz, and all their studies and the experiments done by the neurosurgeons and neuroscientists such as Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Libet, as the report that I did on it based on Dr. Egnar's work and the gathering of that information. I put the link up here for you of that particular one that you can use. And this link, it's a longer video, but it's got lots of information that you will be able to see the roots of it being the roots of being able to deal with HOCD is to really clearly understand the separation between brain and you. That you're not the brain, brain is not you. So whatever the brain suggests and says, it's irrelevant to you. And then by understanding this, you know how to react to these thoughts, and that reaction helps the brain to rewire itself and understand that you don't give a shit, really, pretty much. Short or long. So here's the link. Hopefully that you guys will have a chance to take a look. Just have your favorite beverage, tea or coffee or whatever it is that you drink, and watch this video and learn from it and understand that you're not the brain and brain is not you. So what it conjures up should not be really affecting you because you have the knowledge now. And Light says, hello, Mehran. You have really helped me. Thanks. You're quite welcome, dear. And Matib, I hope the answer helped you out. Kyle is here, 28, male USA. Says, glad I finally caught your live. Any advice on how to get back out there after a 3-year relationship? Yeah, just get back out there. That's the most logical thing. It's like saying, I got injured in soccer match, and I had to, take 6 weeks off till I heal my, I don't know, ankle or whatever. And what's the best way to get back into the game? What's the best way to get back in the game? You tell me. Get on the pitch. Start practicing. Do your running. Whatever it is. You don't have to score a goal in a game, but you can just be there and do small passes. So same thing. Get back in the game by, saying hello, be pleasant, see what the reaction is, and get into the whole rhythm of appreciating girls and introducing yourself and finding ways to be, cheerful and, charming and so on, and go from there. So there's no secret to it. You're the same person as before you broke up. So bring about your best foot forward. It's not and you learn it as you go along. You know how you feel about the girl. When it's a time to ask her for tea, or I don't know, the circumstance, walk in the park, or however it works out, or maybe in a library, depending on. You're 28 years old. I guess you don't go to the library that much. It was much easier in college time, wasn't it? All right. Says I was so used to interacting with her, now I feel like it's hard to talk to someone else. No, it may seem like you're betraying your love, even though she broke up or you guys broken up, but you have this because it has become your order in life. What you're really missing is not that you're missing her. And the same thing for a previous caller that I was talking to, girls like my hair. You think you miss her, but in fact you're really not missing her. What you're missing is how it used to be in your life, the order of your life. You know, before you got into a relationship, you had a certain things you would do during the day. You would get up, you'd have your tea or coffee, or you would go for exercise or a run, or you would go to university, or you go to your job, and then after that you would go to gym, or you would meet your friends, or you would, do stuff. Yeah. And then when you got together with your partner, let's say your girlfriend, and you both created these certain routines, because before the being in a relationship, you did all those little things during the day, all those little things that you were engaged in, going to school, going to work, going to the gym, going to cinema, going to movies, going to with your friends. All that activity is called mechanical process. Those mechanical process create a routine in your life, and those routine excuse me, create an order in your life. That order is what the brain finds security in it, how things are. The brain is trained to focus on those mechanical processes, create that routine and order, and in that order feels my life is got a shape, has a shape, has an order in it. When you get into a relationship, that mechanical processes that you're engaged in becomes in two parts: part that you individually doing it, and the other part that what she and you both together are doing it for both of you. So your mechanical processes get updated, change a little bit, the routine changes, and therefore there is a new order for your life, not just as it was when you were single. Now you get used to that order, and that becomes your order. What you two both been doing, texting, going to cinemas, going to gym, or talking, or activities, other activities, and so on, that all becomes part of the routine and becomes and shapes the order of your life. That's where your brain finds security. Your mind finds security. Now she's gone. You guys broke up. So what has broken up? Not just the relationship, also your order has broken up. The order where the mind finds security and relaxation. So what happens when the mind cannot find order in your life because you can't be doing all those things that you were doing together, and the rhythm is broken? So what does it do? Still wants that security. So where can it find how things used to be? Your mind can find how things used to be to find secure in the memory. So it keeps going in the memory, ruminates and thinks about how things were. While it's thinking about how it's were and feels secure because everything in the memory has the same order that it always had, feels secure being in there, what else is there? Who else is in that memory while you're in the memory feeling secure? She is. When you see her in your memory, and the brain cannot tell the difference between virtuality and actuality, when you see her in the memory, the trigger for desire, which has certain prerequisites, and it's also recorded in the memory, the trigger for desiring her also is flourished, is clicked. So now the prerequisites that is needed for desire to be born is now activated, which is already in the eyes of the brain. It's already met, is already completed, because it's recorded, is now triggered. So the file opens up, and you will think, the brain thinks, that now it's replenished again. Those prerequisites for desire to be born, it's now met again. And now then you desire her. It's not because you miss her. You miss the security for the brain. So you go into the memory. In the memory, you see her. When you see her, the prerequisite for desire file is triggered, and they open up, and now you desire her. So you need to create a new mechanical processes to create new order, new routine, and new order. And then your mind does not need to go into the memory to find security, finding that order, how things used to be. It finds its security in the order that you have created newly, and it stays here rather than going to the memory. And when it doesn't go to the memory, doesn't see her, the trigger file for the desire is not triggered. Therefore, you won't miss her because you're not there to have the prerequisites for desire file to be triggered and then desire her. So key is to create a new order in your life, in the actuality of your life, so you don't have to look for any order in the memory, and you won't end up missing her because of that. Okay, I hope that helps you out. Girls like my hair. Come on, give me a name. and and Alex says, "Hey, Miran, what are your thoughts on daily affirmation or audio affirmation tapes while you sleep?" Affirmation for what? The best affirmation you can do for yourself is before you sleep, go in front of the mirror, meaning wash your hands, your face, or whatever, you're getting ready to sleep. Last thing you do, look into a mirror and say, "You're a good guy. You're a good person. I love you. I'm proud of you. Good for you." And send good energy into the mirror. The reason you do it in the mirror because it looks like the mirror is telling you, somebody else is telling you. That's an affirmation with the most clear mandate and intention, all positive. It's coming from you to you. It's coming from the mirror to you. So it actually hits you in the tent and it goes right in with that good energy. And that's how you want to go sleep, with those good words about yourself. And when you wake up, you do a little meditation, connect yourself with the nature, and then you go about your business. So these affirmation things, you don't want to be hooked on it because you want to be independent and self-sufficient in affirming yourself. And what's there to be affirming? You should be a decent guy, do the best you can do in whatever it is that you touch. That's affirmation, because you know what you did was the best you could do and you did it right. That's all. Fairness. And so we did all that. We did talk about Kyle, and we talked about Light says, "I have a question. A few days ago, I wanted to buy a laptop, but I don't have money. So I asked my grandfather, mom's dad. He said, yes, he'll buy me. I said, it's $450. He said, okay. Then my mom's sister, she also wanted one. So grandpa gave her money. Now at the shop, my cheap one was not available. And I didn't want it to buy the expensive one. But she said to me to buy it. She, who's she? Your sister? Now I am in frustration that why I bought such an expensive gift. I should not have bought it. How had I that I bought such an expensive? Look, I don't understand. If you said 450 and he gave you 450, how could you have bought anything more expensive? That's all the money you had. Or unless you're telling me because your sister also said she wants one too, so your grandpa gave her the money, like $900. And when you guys were in the shop together, that's what I'm assuming, because you weren't clear about it, you and your sister encouraged you because you couldn't find the one that was cheap enough to buy a more expensive one, kind of foregoing her intention to buy one for herself. In other words, you use some of her money to buy the more expensive. Is that what you're telling me? Because if that's what you're telling me, well, then your sister gave her consent, an agreement for you to have a, computer that you needed. Perhaps she didn't need it as bad as you did, or she could hold off for a little bit more money later and to buy it later, or whatever reason she had. But I don't think you need to worry about it if your sister is okay with it. And that's the end of the story. Whatever is left, she's going to spend it on herself, or maybe you can explain to grandpa that grandpa, it wasn't available. I bought it this much. She allowed it, but now she's short in the amount of money she wanted to buy something for herself. I don't know if that's the actual story, but that's what you can talk about. And let me know your age as well. Again, guys, when you ask a question, even though you said it in the previous question, I don't remember it. I don't want to look for it. Just give me those three little things: age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Like male, M, or female, F, and however you signify your gender, and then your age, 26, whatever, 30, and then the country or the city. So these three things. Simona Alek Zihute, Alexiute, I hope I'm not butchering your name. I apologize. Says, greetings, female 17, Lithuania. Says, my OCD is getting better, but I really want these false attractions to go away. I'm accepting them, but they're not fully gone. Well, I also like $1 million in the bank, but that's not in the cards for now, is it? So I'll take what is happening. So if it's helping, if it's going away, you take that, be happy about it, and learn how to deal with the rest of it until you rewire your brain, and through neuroplasticity and through the way you deal with the intrusive thoughts that they show up, you will rewire and help the brain to retrain itself until it goes away. But being impatient, I want this to be done, but it's not done, it brings more attention to that, what it is that you don't want. And the more attention you pay for it, the more it has a chance to think that is a way to keep you occupied and therefore find security in the occupation. Because the brain finds security in occupation by keeping you busy. And if you keep thinking about things that is annoying to you or unwanted, then you're encouraging it to continue thinking about it, because that's the way it can occupy you, and it can occupy through a conversation or debate or a dialogue, the brain and you, and the brain finds security that way. But when you ignoring it, and when you accept it, is not accepting the content, is accepting that thoughts of any kind, intrusive or not, can exist. In other words, if they show up, it's not contrary to what you are. You shouldn't be threatened by it. It's just a thought that you accept. Thoughts of all kind can exist, just like you accept all products out there, whether you like them or not, the design or the function of it or not, they can exist. All lifestyles can exist. All technologies can exist. All kind of foods can exist, but doesn't mean because they exist you would like them. Many of them are contrary to your taste or your preference, but you accept the fact that all these things, contrary to your values, can also exist in the world, because it's a fact. They exist, but doesn't mean anything to me just because something that I'm not in agreement with it or fond of it exists out there, but I do accept that they can exist. That's why there's no pressure on me. Any thought shows up in my brain, any nasty thought, I say it what it is. Oh, that's a nasty thought. But doesn't mean just because it showed up here, it has a mandate or a message for me. Oh, that's describing me. That's defining me. No, but I accept thoughts can exist. Just like when you are driving and you're in your car, you're driving your car to a destination, there are all other kind of millions of other cars exist on that road, different lanes in front of you, behind you. You don't stop and search them or or investigate them or ask them or wonder where they're going. Why are they here? They're not me. They're not my car. They're not going where I want to go. Why are they? You don't. You just say, well, I allow them. I accept that they're all cars, regardless of where they're headed, even though it's not somewhere that I would find them proper to go to, but they can be there. I'm not concerned about where they're going. I'm not concerned about that they're also on the road. I accept that all cars can be on the road, but I drive my own path and I go where I want to go. They can go where they want to go. So brain too makes a thought, say, I accept all thoughts can exist, but it's got irrelevant to me just because it shows up in the screen of my head. It's got nothing to do with me, just like I'm watching a program on TV. I can flip it and different things come on TV. Just because it shows on the screen of my TV in my living room, that doesn't mean that represents or identifies me. It's some station somewhere created that program, and my TV can receive it. Just because it can receive it and shows it on its screen, that doesn't mean I had anything to do with its creation or its intention or identifies with me. I can receive, I can visualize, I can see it. So brain also creates thoughts that in the screen of my head, I become noticed of it. I notice it. But because I notice it and it shows up on the screen of my head, doesn't mean that it's got any relevancy to me or have any connection with it. But I allow it because it's there. So what? I'm not the brain, and brain is not me. That's how you look at it. And you help your brain to rewire itself through these understanding and education. Sean Key says, Dear Sir 23, male Malaysia. Says, my girlfriend for 4 years left me 2 months ago, and I was blindsided by the breakup. Okay. One day she was still herself, and one day before my birthday, she dumped me. First of all, don't use that word. Dump me? Why would you even use that word? Because you automatically, subconsciously telling yourself she's better than you because she dumped you. What are you, garbage? Nobody can dump you. It's like saying somebody goes to a jewelry store and the jeweler brings the same design of the ring. One is diamond, one is cubic zirconian, one is crystal, and one is glass. And the person chooses the crystal. And then now, is the diamond supposed to think, oh, she dumped me. She didn't buy me. That means I'm not as good as crystal. It's nonsense. That was her understanding the clerk, the shoppers, the clients, or the customers' limits of understanding or appreciation of that ring, crystal. She couldn't tell the difference. She couldn't understand, or her level of appreciation or knowing about jewelry was so limited that crystal was good enough for her. So that's on her, not on the diamond. Same thing with you. Consider yourself diamond, and she's stupid to choose crystal or glass. So what? It doesn't change you. That's how you should think about it. And he says, she told me many things which she disliked about me. So I dislike many things about some other girls, and they dislike many things about me, but that doesn't define me what they dislike. That's fine. It's like saying, okay, I'm a spaghetti, and some people, it's like you say, I like spaghetti, and some people don't like spaghetti. Just because they don't like it, does the spaghetti go bad and become not delicious or nutritious anymore? No matter who likes the spaghetti and who doesn't like the spaghetti still remains nutritious, delicious, and still many people around the world love it, regardless of who doesn't. So you think of yourself as spaghetti. You're spaghetti regardless they like you or they don't like you. You don't change. You're still good. Same thing here. So she said many things about me she doesn't like about me. Okay, so big deal. And said she dropped subtle hints. What? But she didn't communicate it directly to me and did not give a chance to discuss and understand. She left. Give a chance to what? Why do you make her like she's end all be all in your life? How old are you? You're 23. Your girlfriend is probably 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, something like that, right? At that age, you hardly know who you are, let alone know what kind of woman you want. And she hardly knows who she is, let alone having this kind of a echelon of gauging and qualifying or disqualifying based on her choices. Whatever she chooses, she chooses. Big deal. That doesn't change you or make you or break you, whether she chooses you or not. That's how you should be thinking. Who is she? What has she accomplished in life that she became all these all-knowing, wise person that if she chooses you, you're on the height of the mountain, and if she doesn't, oh, you're not good enough. What the hell? Who is she? What does she know? All right. Says, I don't understand. She left me when I needed her. Well, you don't need her. The most, although, why you needed it the most? What? To do what? What? What's going on in your life that you needed her? You say a specialist, what? You have a knee problem. She's a knee specialist, or what? She pays your rent. What is it? What's her specialty that you needed her? Huh. And although I was there when she need, okay, yeah, fine, that's you and that's her. So more reason for you to let her go. She says I'm not man enough for her. Oh, really? You should say, well, okay, that's all right. It makes two of us. You're not woman enough for me. And have a nice day. Bye bye. How do I avoid getting into one-sided what relationship and identify red flags? Listen, you need to work on your selection process. When you select a girl based on what your dick is thinking, that's the end of it. But if you qualify a woman based on her intelligence, capabilities, compassion, responsibilities, plans, career, education, then you got something. But when you don't do any of that, say, "Oh, she's smiled at me. She's nice. She turns me on." Well, that's how it is. You got to see if she's loyal or not. She's intending seriously or not. But most boys, they just go, "Ah, just because what? She's wearing a high heel." That's a given. Everybody should wear a high heel. But you also have to look into here if she's got the um, the marbles that goes along with the good looks. Otherwise, the good looks alone is not going to serve you well in a relationship. Relationships don't take place based on the looks and the intimacy. Relationships take place in the consciousness level. So you got to see how you guys measure up on the consciousness level. If you don't do that, it's not going to work out. And he says, um, I'm watching your videos every day till I fall asleep. Thank you for making them all free. I will recommend them to all my friends when they need it. Thank you again, sir. Don't stop making videos. You're quite welcome. Delighted that the videos and channel is helpful for you to you, and continue on. And you have no worries, no problems. There will be girls. The more you accomplish yourself, and the older you get, the more you know what kind of girl you want, and then you'll become more sophisticated to filter better and select better, and then you'll have a better chance for a longer lasting quality relationship. Don't consider girls qualified just because they're female. They should have what it takes to make a relationship work, and that has to do with their manners, upbringing, education, compassion, understanding, compatibility in the mind with you, and all the other traits that would make two consciousness bond on that level or not. And that's what you should be looking for, which takes time. So you could go with someone for a year or two and then find out it doesn't work. Then you stop and go, even though you may miss her, because you all do. But that's okay. That's normal. But missing a girl doesn't mean she was the right girl. Missing a girl is a trait of a human being. We miss each other when we don't see each other. Friends miss each other, boyfriend, girlfriend miss each other. So, but that is not, missing is not an evidence that she was the right selection for you. It just means you're a human being. So don't think of it in that way. And Brian Plassi or Piassi says, I see. Thanks a lot, Meran. You're quite welcome. And says, I have another question. Remember, guys, we're only here for an hour. How long have I been here? Oh, more than an hour. Okay. I think we got to wrap it up. Remember, guys, I have a site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com. You can always go there, make an appointment, take a look at the books I've written, and you can read a sample chapter. And you can always make an appointment for a Skype consultation, and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. With new clients for 1 hour consultation, I will add another 30 minutes on me. So we'll have an hour and a half. So we won't have to rush and explore what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. Baby Yoga says, no second part. Just wanted to show appreciation. Your channel back in 2017 changed my life. I have grown a lot. I still don't know why this channel hasn't blown up. Yeah, I thank you very much. I appreciate for your kind words. And I have the same question, why this channel has not blown up. I really don't know. The content that we have here, I believe, is second to none. It's not discussed in this depth, whether it's about relationship breakups or OCD or substance of OCD. We have put lots of efforts and logical thinking about these topics. And I too am wondering, this channel should have had 2-3 million subscribers right now, because it is really helpful. And I'm not biased. I've seen a channel or two here and there. No. Light says 18 male India upper kush. Thank you very much, Light. I appreciate that. And Light says, okay. The Light says, upper question says, in my country, $600 is a whole month's salary of most people. So I feel like why I asked my grandpa to buy such an expensive gift for me. I have never asked anything from anyone in my life. No, it's okay. Your grandpa is very happy that you did that. You know, it's nothing more pleasurable than if you can afford it and your grandson or granddaughter or your son or daughter asks you for something and it's not a pressure and you can handle it and you buy it for them. I'm sure if grandpa couldn't, he wouldn't have offered it. He's an older man, he's wise, he knows that he needs to have money and probably he had enough to do. But I understand and I appreciate your concern. It's very good of you to think that way, to think about your grandpa and his economic well-being. So you simply take good care of that computer and use it, and thank your sister for being so generous and kind to agree that the combination amount of money that was available, most of it or more than your share could be spent on what it is that you wanted to buy. Brian PSC says, I started dating my girlfriend, who was my first, at the end of last year. We had been talking for 6 months before we started dating, and everything was going great until I developed HOCD. Okay. After that event, nothing was the same. Often when I think about my girlfriend, I feel very strong anguish, and I think this happened because I spent a lot of my life alone, but I'm afraid it's a sign that I don't really like her. Okay. Well, whatever you mean by that comment, I'm not really clear, but in the same time, look, education will help you to understand that this is HOCD. It's not death and nothing has happened to you, and it's just a matter of having to deal with the glitch of the brain which this brain is not a complete brain, is not a perfectly functioning brain. Is this brain is only 40,000 years old. Before 40,000 years ago, we didn't have this brain. For millions of years, we lived without this brain. We were living like animals, instinctively. Everything was simple: eat, sleep, run, hunt, have sex, and no other questions or ambiguity, because there was no thinking ability or speaking ability. Words weren't there to define or bring conclusion to thoughts, and thoughts were not being made because we had no ability to think. And everything was instinctive. That's why people didn't have HOCD or this and that so far. Because there's no thinking. Because thinking is why we have all these glitches, because it gives a suggestion to the brain, and the brain, having duped us to think that the brain is intellect since childhood, we did math with it, helped us to solve things. It's an apparatus, it's an organ, but we thought of it as brain is me. So when now something appears in the brain, you get bamboozled. Oh, that must be me, I'm changing. No, it means there's a glitch in this 40,000-year-old brain, which is not yet developed 100%, and it's got lots of glitches. That's why today you can see there's a lot more psychological problems that everybody has than actually physical problems, because everybody has psychological problems and questions, but they hide it under a smile or whistling or doing things or posturing. But inside is all fucked up, and we all know it. Every one of us has some kind of lots of things going on in here. So that's not because something wrong with you. There's something wrong with this apparatus. This brain is not a complete work of art. It's still work in progress. So don't be fooled by it. It's not you, and you're not it. So what it says, it's nonsense, irrelevant to you. Mango Media says, what a cute name, Mango Media. Says, man 33 USA. Thank you for that. Says, I had to block a toxic friend. It's been 4 months, and they contacted me recently. They used to be mentor. There is a part of me that believes giving people a second chance. Do you agree? Well, it depends on what those people are. It's like saying there's a part of me says, animals deserve a second chance. Yes, but depends on what kind of animal. If it's a snake, no, I don't give him a second chance. I walk away. I go away. I don't want to come in just because oh well, that was a mistake that the snake jumped at me. That's his way of being. He doesn't know any better. So I can't expect him to know or behave the way I would, or to know better. That's his nature. So I'm not going to give him a second chance. I'll just move on my way and let it be. Some people, they look like people. They look like human beings, but they're actually fucking evil. And if I have enough evidence and enough experiences, these guys just not normal. There's something wrong with their intention, and they're not extending a positive energy. Have you not seen, if you walk by somebody or talk with somebody, you feel calm and you feel relaxed and you feel safe, and their words are proper and their energy is good, and you attracted to be friend with them. But there's some people that you actually haven't talked much with them, but you just feel some kind of a energy that is not attractive at all. And in fact, you want to be away with them because there's a quality of energy. We are not all this physical being. There's an energy that runs to us, and when we extend this energy whether we want it or not. And if you're in tune with that energy, you can feel people by their energy rather than their words or their looks. And therefore, when you feel their energy is not good, you don't give them a second chance. You leave them be and you go about on your business. You don't have to give second chance for what? What is it that they're in need that you got to give them a second chance? Or they got to talk to me. They got to be friends with me. Otherwise, they die. No, there is no such thing. They'll thrive and they do their thing, but they want to harm you, or they want to be negative around you. They want to create that negative atmosphere. Well, no. You shun every goddamn human being that is negative to you or is not balanced around you. You just stay away from them. So if you're convinced that these guys are jackasses, they don't mean well, then fuck them. Meaning, that's French in saying, leave them alone. All right. But the reason you say that every human being deserves a chance, it's because you are thinking about yourself. I'm thinking. You think there's a watcher, there's a God watching you, and it's going to judge you based on if you give a second chance to these people, if you're nice and kind and compassionate or not. That's what you're hoping for. You think somebody is watching you, how you give second chance or no, you don't have to. If somebody really cares about it and there's a God watching you, suppose, but it's your own thoughts actually watching you, it's not that. You think that something is going to judge you if depending on how you behave with this. So you think, oh, I should give a second, I should be a nice guy. No. Nobody who loves you like God or whatever, if it's real, is not going to expect you to give second chance to people who actually intend to harm or they have negative intentions around you. In fact, God has given you, whoever you think God is, nature, God, universe, has given you enough intelligence to figure these things out to protect yourself and move away. And if you don't want to use it in pursuit of scoring with God, which is your own thought in this particular case, then that's selfishness. You're actually shooting yourself in the foot instead of relying on your intent, on your intuition and your understanding that these are not good people to be around with. You don't want to be influenced by them. Depending on your level of experience, I don't know who they are, what they've done, what they haven't, but I don't have too much of at my age, I used to be much more tolerant and thinking, oh, I got to be a nice guy and just forgive everybody. But no, it gets to the point that, listen, I don't need to constantly be the one to forgive. They should also think, why would they have negative intention to other people if they're good people? So when I notice it, I just move away. I don't want to associate with negatively intended people. Simple. Now, again, it depends on what situation was, which I don't know. And Aman says, I like a girl online. She sees my post. I started talking to her, but it feels like I'll bore her and no closeness will happen. Okay, then don't bore her. Don't be so available. And talk about other things. See what she's interested in, not just what you're interested in. And don't try to teach her. Just communicate with her. Aman 20 male India. Thank you for that. And I don't understand. You're 18, male 18 India light says, actually I wanted to buy $450 laptop, but ended up buying 600 laptop. I said, I'll buy it online. But sister pressurized me to buy it now, or she will not give me the money. I'm frustrated. Why are you frustrated? So she did you a favor. What's wrong with that? Thank her and say, thank you, sister. That's why I didn't tell her no. Why I buy it more expensive at 30% more expensive. And in India, I said, okay, so what did you do finally? You bought it, right? So don't worry about it. It's done. She was okay with it. Simona says, thank you so much. You're quite welcome. And Anonymous, okay. And Light says, thank you so much. I really hope you'll have at least 1 million subscribers. Hope is not good enough, guys. If you guys really care about this channel and you think it's worth it, then do something about it, promote it, talk about it, put it on your social media, and do something that it could catch on. Otherwise, it's been 10 years and I've been helping thousands and thousands of people, but we still don't have the numbers as we should have, as many channels who really don't do much have. Male 15 India. Okay, guys. It looks like we answered all the questions and we don't have any more questions. At this time, I'd like to say thank you very much for being here. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here, giving me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind that seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing, again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.